Hello, ladies, and welcome back to this new episode. Really excited that you are here. Today, I want to talk about the traits that I see successful women making. And when I'm talking about successful women, I'm talking specifically about somebody who has taken on a new role. So either got a promotion, stepped into a new position, maybe change companies. But there are traits that I see, and I wanted to share them with you today because I have managed hundreds of women. I have coached now hundreds of women on these topics. And so I've chosen 5 that I want to share with you today. And I would invite you to think about what you're doing, about what is showing up, what you're doing and not doing, and how maybe you could tweak your leadership presence as I go through this. Because keep in mind that the initial excitement when you take on a new role, it is there. But believe me, I know that you're also thinking, oh gosh, now what? You start to feel the pressure. You're juggling new responsibilities. You've got a team, wondering if people are questioning whether you actually belong here. So I want to be clear, and this is a little bit of tough love, but success in a leadership role isn't about working harder. Please do not think that you have to work 20 extra hours a week. It's about working smarter. Women who thrive in a new position share the traits that I'm going to share with you today. And it's not things that they're born with. They are things that you can actively cultivate. Okay, and that's what I want to help you with today. So trait number 1 is they take ownership quickly. Successful leaders don't wait to be told what to do. They step up and they own their role from day one. They don't wait for a roadmap. They ask smart questions, they get clear on priorities, and then they move forward instead of hesitating. A lot of people think there is a right way to do things. There isn't. Okay, there is your way. And yes, of course, you can learn and there are smart strategies to use, but you just need to take action. And when it comes to taking ownership, they also acknowledge there are gaps, but don't dwell on them. You don't have to sit and talk about the fact that you don't have a certain skill. They focus on learning what they need and not proving that they already know everything. And just to give you an example for that, I took on a role at one point in time and I had to do a lot of public speaking. And my boss told me my public speaking skills were crap. So I took responsibility for that. I went out and paid for training. And then I put myself into situations where I could practice that skill, practice in front of the mirror, practiced with colleagues, but it was a skill that I took ownership for improving. And taking ownership is also about taking responsibility for your team's results. Even if you have inherited challenges, don't blame your predecessor or the circumstance. Focus on solutions. Okay, so maybe you realize that your new team is behind on deliverables. Instead of saying, this was a mess before I got here, you ask, okay, how can I get this back on track? What do I need to do to prioritize? She owns the problem and the solution. So in your first 90 days, identify 3 key areas that you need to take ownership and create a plan for each of those. So if you find yourself saying, I don't know how to do this, replace it with, what do I need to learn or how will I figure this out? So trait number 2, speak with authority, even before you feel 100% ready. Women who take on a new role and are successful in their role don't wait until they feel confident to contribute. Show up and speak up. So for example, don't preface what you're going to say with what you're going to say with uncertainty. Drop your phrases like, well, I could be wrong, or, well, I'm not the expert. that kills your credibility and your authority. So just speak decisively. Don't hold back in meetings. Please contribute ideas, challenge assumptions, and ask smart questions. You need to communicate like a leader. People need to feel reassured. So practice that executive presence. It's about being clear, direct, and speaking with confidence. Okay. So as an example, instead of saying in a meeting, well, I think this might not work, but I'm not sure. Or based what I've, seen, I'm not really sure. So instead, say something like, based on what I've seen, this is the best direction to take, and here's why. Okay, can you hear how my energy is totally different? So, eliminating weak language, you can actually record yourself speaking and remove phrases that underline your authority. It's the same thing in email. I just wanted to put this out there. Just take out the word just. Commit to speaking at least once per meeting. Ask a strategic question, but get your voice in the room. Okay. Even if you don't know yet everything, it is okay. Do it before you feel ready. Trait number 3. And this is such a big topic that I've done a lot of posts on this and other podcast episodes. It's about networking and visibility. So trait number 3, build relationships strategically. Successful people that I work with know that they don't need to do everything alone. They build a strong relationship with different stakeholders internally. So number 1, with their team, okay, establish credibility. Take time to understand the team dynamics, the strengths, the challenges, their personal stories. Connect with senior leaders. Okay. Seek out who are those stakeholders and align with the company's priorities. Find trusted peers for support. Build a network of colleagues who can offer advice and insights. And I coached somebody on this recently. She's in a very masculine company and she was promoted, and there was one other woman on the leadership team. So she's thinking, oh, great, she's going to be able to support me. And so she reached out, and the women they didn't get along, and there was something about the vibe. That's okay. Just find somebody else. But just because something doesn't work once, don't stop doing it. Okay. So instead of spending your first few months trying to prove yourself, a successful woman schedules one-on-ones with key team members, your boss, cross-functional leaders to build trust and alignment. So I suggest that finding 3 key relationships to prioritize in your first 90 days. Your boss, a mentor, and a peer. And of course, I would add also your team in there. And just be proactive. Set up a coffee chat, ask for feedback, check in with your team regularly. Trait number 4. The successful women that I see, also, they're not working longer hours. They are managing their time and they are managing their energy. And when I talk about energy, when we step into a new role, there's a lot of pressure. We put pressure on ourselves. Other people are putting pressure on us, but it is impossible to do it all and to do it all perfectly. The women that I coach, many of them get caught up in being the perfect mother at home, in being the perfect boss. It's impossible to do everything. It just is. So I suggest set clear priorities. Focus on the highest impact tasks that you can do and delegate the rest. And I actually have a free resource about this. I will link in the comments, but priorities are so important. Establishing boundaries, super important. Don't fall into the trap of overworking to prove yourself. Protect time and set aside time for strategic thinking. Don't get sucked into the weeds. When you take on bigger responsibilities, you absolutely need time for strategic thinking, for big picture thinking. And you cannot do that if you are constantly getting sucked into every single decision, having a to-do list that is a mile long. You need time for strategic thinking. When you take on a job, you will be invited to many meetings. Instead of saying yes to everything, block time for deep work and delegate that low priority tasks that you can give to your team, or even just take it off your list. So I suggest blocking 90 minutes a week, at least for strategic thinking. And I just want to tell you how I do it. I do my best thinking in the morning and on my walks. So I block time off 2 to 3 days a week to do just that. I listen to a podcast. I go out for a walk, 4 to 5 miles. That is where I get all my amazing ideas. It's not sitting in front of a computer. It is not answering email. It's when I can step back, I have fresh air, and just the stress of every day is kind of off my shoulders. So decide on what your non-negotiables are for protecting your energy, and whether that's ending a meeting on time, not working weekends, or keeping your workout time sacred, stick to it. Okay, and again, I will link the resource that I have for you. Trait number 5. The most successful women I see trust themselves and they make decisions. They don't waste energy on second guessing their every move. They just trust their judgment and move forward. So making decisions quickly, not getting stuck in analysis, paralysis, and having to gather all of the data. You will never have all of the information. So gather key information, then make a decision, and then move on. You know that you will not always get it right, but don't fear making mistakes. Learn from them. That is a key trait that I see. And own your style. Don't try to imitate others. The women that I see who are most successful lean into their strengths. So as an example, instead of overthinking a hiring decision, a successful leader is going to weigh key factors, make a choice, and then commit. Please don't waste hours guessing, second guessing, asking everyone what they think. Just if it doesn't work out, just adjust and move on, and don't blame yourself. You can always, if you catch yourself hesitating, just remind yourself that it is impossible to have all of the information, and successful leaders, they make the best choice that they can with the information that they have in that given situation, and then they move forward. So in closing, the truth is, nobody hands you confidence, nobody hands you authority, and nobody hands you success. You build it. If you are in a new role, choose one of the traits to focus on this week, whether it's speaking up, building relationships, managing your energy, and take action. Because the sooner that you step into your brilliance, the faster you will own it. I know it is a big transition. It is scary. Everybody doubts themselves. But those first 90 days, because we're also often on a probationary period, it will set the tone for your success. So don't wait. And I also want to put out there that you don't have to figure it out alone. I can personally help women in leadership accelerate their success, build their confidence, and lead with impact. So if you want to fast track your results and avoid all of those common mistakes that so many people make in those first 90 days, book a call with me. I will also link it in the show notes. I would love to talk to you and just see how together we can make your first 90 days a launch pad for long-term success and not a learning curve. So can't wait to hear from you. Also, have a fantastic day, and we'll speak soon.